welcome to part 2 of our video series, How Does It Work? In part 1, we learned about how our immune system works as a shield protecting us from all the germs or invaders that are around us every day. Our immune system has two parts, our innate immune system, which attacks every invader the same way, and our adaptive immune system, which makes antibodies to build a very unique response to that invader and also builds memory for if we see it again. So if we have such a wonderful defense system, why do we still get sick? Let's see how it works. So as I briefly mentioned in the last video, viruses, bacteria, and fungi are among the many different kinds of germs that can make us sick. But today, we're just going to talk about viruses. A virus is a very simple creature. It's made up of only its genetic code, DNA or RNA, and an outer protein shell. Like viruses, we have a genetic code too, and that's just the instructions that make you, you. But unlike human cells, viruses lack all the tools needed to make copies of their genetic code. That's like having an apple pie recipe without having the apples, the pie crust, or an oven. So what viruses do is they break into our bodies and use our cells' tools in order to make copies of themselves. Now, breaking into the human body is no easy task. As we saw in the last video, a virus has to make it past at least 2 levels of our defense systems in order to get into our cells. But viruses are sneaky, and they can disguise themselves to get past our innate immune system and get inside our bodies. Let's think about this in terms of the coronavirus, which uses RNA as its genetic code. Once it gets inside our body, it attaches to our cells and sends its genetic code, or RNA, inside the cell. The RNA uses our cells' tools to reproduce. As the virus reproduces, it actually kills our cells in the process. After making around 1,000 copies of the coronavirus, our cells will burst like a balloon filled with too much water, and the new virus particles, also known as virions, will be released. These virions then go on to infect other cells and repeat this process over and over and over again until millions of virions are made. Although the virus has invaded our cells, it has not escaped our immune system yet. The adaptive immune cells on the strike team are able to determine when a cell has been taken over by a virus. When it finds this cell, it alerts the rest of the strike team to come and fight off the virus. As the battle between our immune system and the virus begins, we begin to feel sick and have various symptoms. So with COVID-19, why do some people become very ill and some people have no symptoms at all? That's a great question, and scientists are still searching for an answer, but they do have a few theories. One theory is that when the immune system reacts to COVID-19, it actually overreacts and begins to attack our own body's cells. And what about the mutations and variants that we've been hearing about? Well, a virus copies its cells very quickly, and when making 1,000 copies of yourself, I bet you'd make a few mistakes too. Let's think back to that apple pie example. If I asked you to make 1,000 apple pies with hand-rolled pie crust, thinly sliced green apples, and a cinnamon brown sugar crumb topping, can you tell this is my favorite dessert? Then I bet you make a few mistakes too. Unfortunately, RNA viruses like the coronavirus do not have the tools to check for mistakes. These mistakes become mutations, and if the mutation can survive, it'll become a new strain. To sum it all up, viruses make us sick by sneaking past our immune system and using our cells' tools to make millions of copies of themselves. The sick symptoms we feel on the outside are letting us know that there is a battle going on the inside between our immune system and the virus. I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next video.